All right, let's jump right in. Today, we are tackling something that, let's be real, so many of us struggle with. That constant nagging pressure to always say yes. We're going to break down the whole people-pleasing habit and give you the tools you need to finally start setting some healthy boundaries. Okay, honest moment. Have you ever found yourself agreeing to something, maybe even with a smile on your face, while your insides are just screaming, no, please, no? Yeah? If that hits a little too close to home, then you are in exactly the right place. So if we want to break the cycle, we first have to get our heads around why we're even in it. It's time to talk about the approval trap and figure out what's really behind that automatic yes. Let's be clear about what we're talking about here. People-pleasing isn't just, being a nice person. It's a whole pattern of behavior where you consistently put what everyone else needs way ahead of what you need. And here's the absolute key. It usually comes from a deep-down fear, a fear of being rejected, a fear of being judged, a fear that if you don't keep everyone happy, you're just not good enough. And what does this actually look like in real life? Well, you might find yourself apologizing for everything, even when you've done nothing wrong. Or you might feel like it's your full-time job to manage everyone else's feelings. You need that praise to feel okay, you find it almost impossible to say no, and you will do anything to avoid a fight. See, these aren't just quirks, they're huge red flags.
And this need for approval is totally connected to a very modern kind of anxiety, FOMO, the fear of missing out. Think about it. They both come from the same place, right? Measuring our own value by looking at what everyone else is doing. FOMO is that little voice, usually screaming at you from your social media feed, telling you that everyone else is living a much cooler, more exciting life. It's the same anxiety, just a different flavor.
Okay, but this constant hunt for approval, it has a real dark side. It actually makes you super vulnerable. Let's dig into how this can open the door to fear, guilt, and even some pretty nasty manipulation. So, when you're always trying to make people happy, you can accidentally become a perfect target for emotional manipulation. And this isn't just about someone being a little mean or pushy. We're talking about calculated psychological games designed to make you doubt yourself, to mess with your confidence, and ultimately to control you. Manipulators tend to use the same old tricks. Let's look at three big ones. First up, gaslighting. A phrase like, "you're overreacting," isn't just a simple disagreement. It's designed to make you question your own feelings, your own reality. If they can make you think you're the crazy one, they have all the power. And then there's the classic guilt trip. After everything I've done for you. This line is pure gold for a manipulator because it turns their request into a debt that they think you owe them. It's not a choice anymore, it's an obligation. And for a people pleaser, that is incredibly hard to push back on. And finally, we have the blame shift. See what you made me do? Just like that, their terrible behavior is somehow your fault. This is a classic move that plays directly on a people pleaser's willingness to take the blame, letting the manipulator off the hook completely. So what do all these tactics have in common? They all prey on a really deep, universal human fear. The fear of losing control. A manipulator uses your fear of losing their approval, or even your fear of losing your grip on what's real, and they turn it against you. Okay, I know that was all pretty heavy, but you have to understand the trap before you can escape it. So let's change gears. It's time to open up the Freedom Toolkit and start talking about how you can take your power back. And the number one tool in this kit? Boundaries. But first, let's get one thing crystal clear, right here, right now. Setting a boundary is not selfish. It is one of the most fundamental acts of self-care and self-respect you can perform, period. But oh my gosh, the guilt. The first few times you set a boundary, that wave of guilt can feel absolutely overwhelming. So how do you handle it? First, just acknowledge the feeling. Your guilt is real, it's valid, but it doesn't mean your boundary is wrong. Second, and this is a game changer, you are not responsible for how they react. Let me say that again. Their reaction is their responsibility, not yours. And just keep reminding yourself, putting your needs first is healthy. It gets easier, I promise. It's like a muscle you have to build up. All right, let's get super practical. To help you fight back against that guilt and self-blame, I want to show you a really cool tool from cognitive behavioral therapy. It's called the responsibility pie. I want you to think of a situation recently where you walked away just feeling like it was all your fault. Maybe an argument with a friend or a mistake you made. Got one in your head? Okay, hold on to it. Now here's how the pie works. First, you just name the situation. Second, you list out everything and everyone that played a part. I mean, everything. Other people's actions, bad timing, outside stress, all of it. Third, you draw a circle. That's your pie. Fourth, you divide up the pie, assigning a percentage of responsibility to each of those factors you listed. And finally, step 5, just look at it. Look at that new balanced picture. It's such a powerful way to see that the blame you're carrying probably isn't yours alone.
Here's a quick example. Say you're beating yourself up over a family fight, all because of one thing you said. Well, when you make the pie, you might realize your comment was, say, only 20% of the problem. The other person's over-the-top reaction, that's 30%. The fact that you were both stressed about work, another 10%. See? All of a sudden you see the whole situation instead of just your tiny slice of the pie.
So we've got a tool for the guilt. Now let's go back and deal with that FOMO we talked about. It's time to make a huge mental shift. It's time to embrace JOMO.
So what on earth is JOMO? It's the joy of missing out. Look at the difference here. FOMO is all about fear, anxiety, and constantly comparing yourself to others. It's exhausting. JOMO, on the other hand, is about choice and contentment. It's about finding that validation from inside yourself, not from what other people are doing. One leads to stress, the other leads to peace. That's a powerful switch.
And this isn't just some abstract idea. You can actively practice it. How? Set real, hard boundaries with social media. Put the phone down. Practice saying no to things you don't want to do and do it guilt-free. Use mindfulness to really be in the present moment. And this is so important. Actually schedule time to rest and do things you love, just for you. It's about choosing depth over width. So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with one last question to really chew on. And I mean really think about it. If you were not afraid, not at all, of what other people would think, what would you do differently? The answer to that question, well, that's where your freedom really begins.